sorry, it's been a little bit of a while, and part of it is because I was struggling a little bit, like everybody else, and genuinely it was having quite an effect on me, because in the UK and I guess a lot of Europe too, we had a really weird, and in fact all over the world the weather's been pretty odd this year. May it was warm, then June, beginning of June, it started to get cold, and so loads of the plants that I had were just either really struggling because of they just didn't know what on earth was going on with the weather. It was incredibly wet, so the slugs were going absolutely bonkers, and I lost so many different crops, just completely got annihilated by slugs. I remember seeing that there were people suggesting things like, make sure you've got backups. Well, the slugs had eaten the backups too, so there was pretty futile. So I've started a lot of stuff again. And if you're not from the UK, we have a conversation with alarming regularity, which is where whenever there is a cold spell in the middle of summer, people will say, oh, it's getting a bit cold, isn't it? Response to that will always be, won't be long, we'll be complaining it's too hot the next minute. And I'm not doing it. I'm not going to complain that it's too hot today. Just not going to do it. I refuse. It is genuinely quite hot to be out working, but I've got so much stuff to do. So I'm here and I'm just refusing to complain that I'm sweating my nuts off and that I'm applying sunscreen and then getting covered in all this dirt and sweating. Did I say that? But I haven't given an update in ages, and I should really show you some of the bad bits and some of the good bits. So let's have a little tour. So we got some of the runner beans, obviously mixed in with a fairly large helping of weeds. Broad beans, the fava beans.
I ate his liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Can't help it. They have recovered really, really well, and they looked pretty sick last time I did the tour. And then some of these potatoes, they're supposed to be a first or second early variety. They're called Jazzy. I know that some of them are ready because I was hoeing some of the weeds off and accidentally uncovered a few. So I reckon, even though I think normally they say it's when the foliage starts dying back, and it's starting to yellow a little bit, so I think some of them will definitely be ready. So I might just sod it. This one looks like it's the most ready. Probably a little bit early. So definitely a little bit premature, because some of these are not to full size yet. But from a tiny little seed potato, from one little half a seed potato that was about that size or smaller, that's all right. These are the Brussels sprouts, which are still pretty small. I need to get some more butterfly netting, because that's all I got at the moment. It's got holes in it as well. It seems to be doing a reasonable job so far, but I need to get some more of that so that I can actually put them up to a height where they can grow to be the size that they will be at maturity. This is really pathetic. The 3 corn plants that managed to survive, and there were 12 winter squashes among these beds, and I'll see whether I can find any remains of any of them. But they'd got to about 2 or 3 sets of true leaves. Yeah, look at that. Seems the only thing that the slugs weren't eating were the weeds. I've got the tomatoes in, which are starting to look a lot better now, because for ages they were yellowing and they looked like they were sulking a bit, potentially from changes in temperature. And I've got some of these are starting to set. This is now onto its third set of trusses. Since found out that just by looking at these, they've got these small flower heads. So they're not actually globe artichokes, I don't think. I don't think they're going to swell enough. So what I think that they are is the close relative, which is cardoons, in which case the young leaves are actually the crop. You eat the stems, which you peel, and apparently they taste a bit like artichokes. I've not cooked with them or used them before, to be honest, so I'm going to try them out. And if you've got any ideas of how you're supposed to use them, or if I'm doing anything wrong, then let me know. Is it too late to be harvesting them? Have they gone a little bit chewy by this time of year? Are you supposed to do it earlier? I don't know. If you've got any information about the best way of cooking them or the best time to harvest them, then let me know, because I'm all ears. And one crop that I'm absolutely determined to have plenty of this year is tomatoes. So here I'm planting out a few different varieties of cherry tomato. I think there's some Sweet Million, F1, and can't remember off the top of my head. And then the other varieties I've got are Roma, the sauce type tomato, as well as some beefsteak tomatoes, which are Saint Pierre, if you're interested. Got this little space at the end because I gave away some of the last tomatoes. Didn't quite know how many I would need because I hadn't measured out the space. So what I'm going to do is use a pack of fenugreek seeds as a bit of a cover crop. Meaty. Use them as a bit of a cover crop, but I'll also obviously be able to use the leaves in cooking. Not quite sure of the best spacing, but I want them fairly close together so that, because they're fast growing, they'll cover up a lot of the weeds, as long as they don't get eaten first. So I'll just put a few drills of them in. Here's my kale, it's Nero de Toscana. Can you see it? Anyway, yeah, been getting a little bit attacked by slugs, but I've had a bit of a crop off it, and having kept it covered, I've just kept it covered in fleece because I haven't got any butterfly netting. And I'll, again, as with the sprouts, I'm going to need to put some taller netting over it fairly soon, because it's starting to get quite tall already. It's not the tallest of kales, but still, it's going to need something. I just need to weed around it as well. Like everywhere, covered in mare's tail.
And another addition to the plot since we last spoke is this shed that I managed to pick up from Facebook Marketplace for 20 quid, which, considering that I had to make a new floor for it, repair every single one of the panels and make a new roof for it, looking back on it, seems like it was probably too high of a price. But it's here now and I can cycle down to the plot. I don't have to bring a van down every time I want to bring my tools and that sort of thing. Obviously there's just hand tools in there, so if you've got any plans to rob it, then you're only going to get away with a fork and potentially a trowel and a pair of gloves. But thank you for coming along, and sorry it's been such a long time that I have made a video, and I promise I'll do my best to keep you updated more regularly. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.